Hi, how are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How's your weekend?
Yeah, yeah, it's been good. Yeah, been garden.
Oh, wow. The weather's been good for that at least.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
So, this is my audience, I guess. We've got a lot of moms. Surprisingly, I didn't realize that I had a lot of moms on my platform, but people are so interested in hearing about, postnatal, prenatal, working out, and just staying fit. So, possibly you can just tell us a bit about yourself and your background and your platform and all of that.
No problem. My name's Jenny. I run a business called Mummy Fit, which I started 5 years ago after having our second son, Charlie. So, my background before that was sales and marketing, in like a commercial background. I gave it all up to set up the business because I loved fitness and health. But also, I was really passionate about helping other mums as well because I felt like there wasn't a huge amount of really good advice and things out there for mums to get back to fitness safely. Uh,
Mhm.
so that's why I decided to set up the business. So that was 5 years ago. Uh,
Okay.
5 years on, we run health club sessions around the UK. We also have an online platform, which is Mummy Fit at Home, which has programs for pre and postnatal fitness. We have live workouts as well, so lots and lots of resources for mums to be and new mummies to access.
Okay, great. So I think one of the most requested advice that people want to get, sorry, I'm just looking at the questions on the side,
Fine.
is the diastasis, I think that's how you
Yeah.
pronounce it, recti. Can one heal an extreme case of diastasis recti without surgery? I'll just post that over there.
Well, that all depends on how severe it is. Now, coming to exercise after having a baby, you should always wait 6 weeks post natural or 10 to 12 weeks post C-section, following your doctors or healthcare workers check. Okay, so, and at that point, they may or may not check your diastasis or your ab separation, as it's also known, and
Mhm.
sometimes they don't. But it is important to get them checked by either a fitness professional who's qualified, or a physio or somebody like that, because depending on the severity, it can be possible to correct them. But if it's sort of beyond sort of 5-6 centimetre gap, you are going to need to be referred to physio in order to try and improve that.
Okay.
And you
Um,
may need surgery depending on if the exercises are done, and you can't sort of minimize that gap to like a centimeter or less, and it's still causing core weakness, or you don't like the appearance of your tummy in terms of how it looks, because obviously when you have a gap, you do get like a bulge in your tummy as well.
mhm.
Then quite often that can be a case for surgery.
Okay, so I guess for those people who don't know, because we've got some guys on on here watching, can you just explain what exactly it is? Because some people might not understand or know.
So diastasis recti is the medical term for abdominal muscle separation. So that happens in about 95% of postnatal mums, when basically as your baby grows, your tummy muscles stretch. So I'm going to show like this, and they come apart down the midline of your tummy.
Mhm.
Um, and that happens it happens in everybody, but about 95% will be left with some slight gap in the muscles afterwards, and then they will need to do the correct exercise techniques in order to regain the core strength, but also get those muscles to close as well. Okay.
Okay, and are you able to check this at home, just in case you haven't got access?
Yeah, we have a guide. We have a ab check guide, and we have a video on YouTube, so I can share you with that with you afterwards if you like, and you can
Yeah, that'd be great.
people who are sort of on this call. So yeah, it's basically a quick guide, and it shows you how to check your muscles so that you can see if you have a gap.
Hmm. Okay, I think that's helpful. So, I don't know if you know what a fupa is.
No.
Um, Someone said, how do I get rid of a fupa? So I think
Like,
that's abbreviated short to
yeah,
fat upper
yeah,
pussy area.
right. It's
So the
sometimes,
bottom part.
yeah, sometimes call it a mum tum as well.
Okay.
Term, but it's a really common thing that mums often say to us, you know, I don't like my tummy, I don't like the way my tummy looks, how do
Mhm,
I improve my tummy? That's the biggest thing that anyone ever asks,
mhm.
you know, when they come to us.
And so what's the best way, I guess?
There's a few ways. There is the correct form of exercise. So core exercises are really important, but also um, is nutrition as well. Nutrition's really key
Okay.
to getting your, you know, your tummy back. But one of the important things is to remember is not to put too much pressure on
Mhm.
yourself as well as a new mum,
Yeah.
and try and be what you were before baby too quickly. You know, it's
Okay.
important to give yourself a bit of a break. Um, but important to follow the correct, you know, to follow healthy eating, and then also doing the correct core exercises in order
Mhm.
to regain, you know, the appearance of your tummy. But if you have had a C-section, it may be that your tummy's different forever, you know, and that
Oh,
it,
really?
yeah, it can be improved, but with the scar, depending on where the scar is, obviously that sometimes isn't possible for it to be as it was.
Wow. I
Yeah,
didn't know that. I had a C-section, so I'm kind of like, okay.
yeah,
Yeah, that's actually very interesting. I didn't know that.
yeah.
So sorry, how to exercise with PGP in pregnancy second trimester. I don't know what PGP, maybe you can explain what that is.
That's pelvic girdle pain. So
Okay.
it's quite common again, where you get quite can be quite severe pain around the pelvis
Okay.
during pregnancy, and sometimes the symptoms can continue after you've had your baby as well. So exercising throughout pregnancy with pelvic girdle pain is one of the really key important things, is just to make sure all the exercise you are doing is in the forwards direction and you
Right.
avoid any lateral movements. So, for example, things like squatting to the side,
Hmm.
anywhere you know you're going sideways rather than forwards. Also, single leg, so things like lunges, you shouldn't do
Wow.
that, because if you do it with one leg, then you put the pressure on the pelvis to sustain the balance and the weight, you know, as you do that motion. So yeah, sort of
Okay.
lateral movements and single leg exercises should be avoided. Depending on the severity, you know, should minimize impact, so no jumping as well. But if your symptoms are severe, then you shouldn't do anything that's going to make it feel worse.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to run, I guess, or
Uh,
just light jogging.
it depends on how it makes you feel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, so I guess this goes back to a mummy tum.
Yeah.
I gave birth 2 months ago by a C-section. I still look very much pregnant. How do I get rid of the belly? So I think you've answered that.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
things, you've probably got some form of ab separation. So if you have
Hmm.
separation in your abdominal muscles, that's going to prevent your muscles from pulling your tummy back in like a corset. So
Okay.
key things would be to address that. So find out, have I got ab separation? And then follow correct exercises. We've got a core program, Carol, that I can share
Hmm.
with you, that's got all
Okay.
the information on there. And then also about nutrition. So they're the key things, really.
Okay, lovely.
Yeah.
And then talking about, because you mentioned the waist thing. So do waist trainers help? Do you advise people to use waist trainers?
No, we don't. No, we don't. We prescribe functional exercise, so physical
Okay.
exercise, done to the correct level, because there's a few key factors really. So functional exercise, obviously, it's good to get your body moving again, and engaging with your core, but
Hmm.
also for the mentally. Physical exercise is so good for your mental well-being as well. So that's the whole
Okay.
reason why we would recommend doing that.
Okay. Um, so now I guess we've spoken about postpartum.
Yeah.
How about prenatal? What are the like how long should someone exercise for?
Yeah.
When I was pregnant, I just couldn't do it because I just kept vomiting and I was so weak and I just felt awful. So the most I could do, I think, was take walks. But then I remember the first time I started walking again, I felt like I'd run a marathon. I was so out of breath. I was just like, I literally just walked for 15 minutes and I just felt terrible. So
Yeah.
is there a reason for that, or is it just like hormonal or?
Absolutely. So the first 12 weeks, it's really normal to feel that way, especially
Hmm.
because your blood vessels increase by 50%, but
Hmm.
your volume doesn't catch up until the second
Okay.
trimester. So you feel low in energy, and you feel tired, and that's what
Okay.
I find it difficult. As you progress in pregnancy, quite often you can feel out of breath because the baby's pressing on your diaphragm,
Hmm.
gets bigger, which obviously makes it
Okay.
harder to breathe. So there's
Yeah.
why you can feel the way you do. Exercise is really important during pregnancy, but there's
Okay.
a couple of things to take into consideration though. If you do feel tired in the first trimester, just don't worry too much, just have a break.
Hmm.
That only exercise to breathlessness. You should be able to still talk.
Okay.
It's not about getting super fit in pregnancy, just staying where you are. Um,
Okay.
okay, because if you train too hard, that's not good for the baby. So it's important just to do gentle exercise throughout.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how about I've heard someone saying that if you weren't working out prior to
Yeah.
getting pregnant, then you shouldn't work out while you're pregnant.
Um, Interesting question because we get a
Hmm.
lot of people asking this. So
Okay.
one of the key advice for exercise in pregnancy is if you've always done it, as you say, like worked out, then continue to do so. But if you have,
Hmm.
it's not a time to start something new. That's
Okay.
the main guidelines really. So if you're talking about, say, working out as in, in a gym and things like that, if you've never ever been to the gym, this is not the time.
To start your membership.
Keep active, walking, gentle walking, yoga, things like that, but nothing too strenuous that you've never done before. It's advice.
No cross fitness
No
then.
CrossFit, not if you've never been. You can say that.
Okay. We've got a question.
Yeah.
Um, which exercise should a lady at 25 weeks pregnant do to relieve back pain?
Okay. So back pain's caused by your spine. Basically, you get what's called lordosis. So where
Mm.
your back, you get a distinct curve in your lower back as your baby grows, and that puts a lot of pressure on your lower back. Okay.
Okay.
So what's important is to continue to work your core strength in order to combat this. So things like, again, I can share with you after, Carol, our core exercise and our prenatal exercise guide. But things like doing sort of Superman holds,
Hmm.
cat stretches and things like that are really good for, working your core and strengthening your back. Side planks on your knees, um, planks on your knees, adapted planks and things like that as well.
Okay. But planks on your toes is an absolute no-no.
In your second trimester, if you're already fit and strong and you've always done it, then,
Hmm.
but as you come towards into third trimester, we would always recommend you drop down to your knees because it
Okay.
puts too much pressure on your lower back and it will just
Okay.
in your lower back pain. Yeah.
Okay. So I think those were the most frequent questions. I don't know if there's anything else that people probably don't know that you can share with us, that we're not aware of as since this is your area. Some people might not know.
One of the questions we get asked a lot about is about running. So
Okay.
a lot of mums who have had babies and say, when can I go back to running? When should I go running? There's a couple of things to be careful of when returning to running. Obviously, if you have any pelvic floor issues, I would recommend not going running period. But also if you're breastfeeding, you continue to release the hormone relaxin, which causes you to become unstable. So therefore you're more prone to injury. So the guidelines for returning to sort of full running is around sort of 3 to 6 months after having a baby.
Okay.
Yeah. So
that's interesting.
Yeah. So I suppose what I'm trying to say is don't rush back to running after having a baby. Just give your body a bit of time, and it's important that you rebuild the strength in your legs, especially. Before going back to running, to support your joints, and especially if you're breastfeeding.
Okay. And any nutritional advice in terms of like what are those called? Vitamins and so forth, pre and post?
Sure. Yeah, so again, we've got a pre and postnatal nutrition guide and a meal plan, and I can share all of that with you as well. I mean, really, all we advocate for mums is we give them a few guidelines on, keeping up the hydration, especially breastfeeding, and having a balanced diet, and trying not to restrict anything from their diet. So quite often mums are really keen to lose weight and they're trying to cut out carbs, things like that. To just eat a balance and not be too restrictive, but equally try not to snack on chocolates.
Okay.
But yeah, try to snack healthily rather than going for like the high sugar things, which is what most sleep deprived mummies will reach for. So they're key things really. And we give lots of we have a registered dietitian that works with us. And she helps us write our meal plans and guides to support new mums and pregnant mums to keep us fit and healthy, as strong as possible, throughout pregnancy and obviously throughout the maternity with the baby.
Okay. So I guess to wrap up, because I had said it would be like 30 minutes less, I'll put the recording on either my YouTube or on my page so that people can access it if they haven't been able to come on the live. So possibly you can just tell us about your program, like how many programs do you have on the platform? How much are they? And anything else that you want to share?
Yeah, sure. So at the moment we are doing Mummy Fit Live. So Mummy Fit Live is exactly what it says it is. It's a live workout for both pre and postnatal mums with our expert trainers. So I teach some of the sessions, and then a couple of other trainers. We're all personal trainers and pre and postnatal exercise specialists. So as I mentioned before, we adapt the exercise and make sure everybody's working out safely, which is really important to us. But we train you to progress, to get fitter and stronger as wherever you want that to be. So we have Mummy Fit Live. We also have Mummy Fit at Home, and that's on demand. So that's pre-recorded. We've got a core program. So that's a 6-week core program. And that's to improve ab separation, so diastasis recti, exactly what you said. Mums follow the core program within 4 to 6 weeks. You should see that minimised and get back to where you were sort of, pre-baby.
Okay.
We've also got a prenatal program on there. So from 12-week dating scan up to birth, you can follow the Mummy Fit workouts, which are done with weights and resistance bands. And you nutrition advice as well. So we've got all of those available.
Oh, wow. Okay. Thank you for that. I think there's one more question before we wrap up. I can hear my baby calling me, so I'm like, oh. Sorry, let me just get this question up. Okay. How can we access the prenatal and postnatal programs?
Yeah. Okay. So I will. Do you want me to comment now, or what do you want me to do?
Yeah, you can put the comment now. You can tell us, and then you can also put the comment. Yeah.
If you visit our website, so it's Mummy Fit UK. Okay. And if you go on there, it's full of links to access. It's called Mummy Fit at Home, and on there you can fill in a link, and we will then provide all the information about the programs that we've got to offer. There you go.
Okay, great. Let me see if I can pin that.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, all right. That's great. I think that was very informative because I think the biggest thing is getting rid of the stomach. But then I think people also need to remember that it also works with the rest of your body being fit.
Absolutely. And, we're at Mummy Fit, we're really passionate about helping our mums to achieve sustainable long-term results. And for me, that's what it's all about. And there's lots of gimmicks out there that might give you a quick fix. The quick fixes are only going to last. The results will only last for a certain amount of time. It's all about, learning new habits, healthy habits, whether it's nutrition and exercise, so that you can maintain those sustainable results long term. And get that mummy body back to where you want it to be.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for all of that information. I know you're getting ready for the live.
Yeah, about an hour and a half. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much. I'll repost this. I'll share this, and then I'll also put it on my YouTube so that other people can have access to it.
Okay, lovely.
All right. Thank you so much.
Have a nice evening. Bye.
You too. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Okay, guys. So that's the end of Mummy Fit conversation. So I hope you guys learned a few things. I certainly did. I didn't know that, you can't run and do all of that stuff. And yeah, so I'm actually on that program. So that's how I got introduced to them. I'm actually on that program working out from home, obviously, which is excellent because of this quarantine situation. So it's very affordable. So if you guys, and affordable, I think it's like £6, £7, £8. I know it's less than £10 a month. So it's really affordable. You don't have to break the bank, and you can just get the results that you want. And like she said, work out and then you progress from there. So yeah, I hope you guys found that very useful. I will probably not save it on my Instagram and put it on my YouTube channel so that you guys can go and access it. So because you only have access to this for 24 hours. But if I put it on my YouTube channel, you'll be able to access it when you need to access it. So yeah. Bye, guys. Baby is calling me.